Perfect. So, hi everyone. A little disclaimer, it's my first conference, so I don't know how we'll end up, but I'll do my best. So, I'm here with Jean-Sébastien to talk to you about Capitale Numérique, the story of a digital ecosystem. So, just to tell it to everyone. In Quebec City, we had the Web à Québec, which was a huge event that gathers thousands and thousands of people during the last 15 years. This event was the biggest French-speaking digital event in North America. So it was quite a huge deal. And everyone wanted to come to our event. We had people from France, from Switzerland, from Belgium that came to the event. And we had many volunteers that gathered to realize the event during these 15 years. At the beginning of Quebec Numérique, Quebec Numérique was the company, the non-profit, that produced the Web à Québec. And since it was a big event, the producer, which were person working in digital agencies, created a nonprofit to make sure that the money was going somewhere, that there was a structure needed to make the business go. So later on, they created the Semaine Numérique and later on 42 Quebec. So the Web à Québec, we had annually 1,200 attendees. We had 60 conferences during those 3 days, and we had more than 150 volunteers during the event. Semaine Numérique, we had 900 attendees with 125 conferences during 5 days. And we had 42, which I don't know if many of you are familiar with it, but 42 is based from the 42 Network, a school in Paris with campuses around the world. So we had the first campus in North America with 500 students, 10 employees, and 0 professors. So this project started in 2021, and it was a success, but it was during the pandemic. So since it was a lot difficult to have people on the campus, it took a little bit longer before we were up to 500, but it came to that number. So for 42 Quebec, since it was all under the same nonprofit, we had the government that gave us $3 million for over 3 years in order to make the program and to help the students come study without having a paycheck. So there were many governmental programs which helped the student being there while they studied. So Quebec Numérique, as I told you, was the nonprofit. We had many projects, and overall, the financial situation of the company was around 80% of public funds and 80% of public funds and 20% of private funds. But the government stopped paying. So with the project, we had a lot of problems with the schools because of the professors that did not like the idea of having a school without professors. So the government put it on administrative investigation. So they wrote us, they said, we need all the receipts from the last 7 years, even when the school was not open, and we'll look into them. So we had an operation, Marteau Écarlate, where we employed people to browse in the receipts and everything. And we didn't even know why. And to this day, the administrative investigation is done, and they found nothing. So the business bankrupt without even knowing why. But There were a big wave of support in the Quebec City and in the province of Quebec ecosystem. So more than 1,000 reshares on social media. We had interviews in all the main medias in Quebec City, digital, press, and everything. And the government told us to be quiet because we were disturbing. So the conclusion of that is that the Quebec Numérique bankrupt, everyone was laid off, and the students could not finish their school program. So that's where we start with the Capitale Numérique, the story of a digital ecosystem that refused to die.
So, welcome to the conference. I'm here to help as a friend to support her first conference. And mostly, I'm the one who introduced her to EDGY. So, she's kind of I would say, a client that is becoming more and more of a user. And Carole-Ann really embed all the spirit of the intersection group, which is collaboration, multidisciplinary, and linking people together. So that's why I'm proud to present to her. And I've brought her here to collaborate with us and tell her the story and how she went through all these different steps and save the ecosystem locally.
Yeah, and when Quebec Numérique closed, Jean-Sébastien and Eric came to us, and they have a huge popularity in Quebec with their facility. You were the first one to do design sprints in the province, and yeah, so you have a reputation preceding you. So when they came to us and talked to us about EDGY, we were like, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. We have a nonprofit to build.
And little known fact, the first event that was like 12, 13 years ago,
15.
15 years ago, Eric missed only the first meeting. So
Yeah,
we
then.
know the event. We were, at least he was there.
And you were there afterwards. So yeah, so we knew them pretty well, and we wanted to collaborate with them. So that's when they talked to us about EDGY, and we said, yeah, let's go. So
Uh, we take a look back at what it was, what happened throughout the year, and we say actually it's not a story, it's three EDGY story. So I named them based on Star Wars convention, but there are no Star Wars jokes in there.
sorry.
It was either Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, or The Matrix. These seems fine for what we are trying to say. So, A New Hope, how it all restarted.
So one day in August last year, we were all meeting in a library. Uh, I was out of a job, and I was looking for one or creating one. I don't know.
Basically, you were managing the other event.
Yeah.
What she's not seeing on the slide, but she
Yeah.
was managing the other event. She was getting paid. That was her job. Then it closed. And then she took the risk for 6 months to restart it without getting paid. So to me, she's a hero already.
So after that, we were GS, a designer who is a volunteer in our team, and the three co-founders of Capitale Numérique. We were all sitting in the library. What I didn't told you initially is that we wanted to buy the events, but it was not possible since it was stuck in the bankruptcy. So a lot of I'll come to that later, but in that meeting, we came to an end that we had to create other events because we could not use the ones that were already existing. So as you can see, I'm the one in the middle crying, and we had to make the next steps, and
We need to figure it out.
yeah, we needed to figure it out, and we were a little all bummed out, but everything turned out okay. But in that moment, in that moment, we had no more staff. We were a team of 25 people working at Quebec Numérique. I was now alone. We had, as I told you, many, many, many volunteers. So we had no more staff. We had no more capabilities. Money, anyone? No. No more product because the brands were stuck in the bankruptcy. And we had no more clients and partners. Everyone was wondering what was happening. So the brands were nowhere to be seen, and we had no more identity. Like, what is Capitale Numérique? What do we want to do? What is our business? Do we have a business? So we came to the realization that we had some facts that we knew that the events are run at 90%, 95% by volunteers. So it was always the business model that made the event work because they are community events. So people give time to these events to make them happen. They build the events they want to attend, and we knew we had the event capabilities, like we know the recipe. So like, what can we do? So the competition, though, wanted to recreate this event because they were both profitable events, which is kind of rare in this era. And people needed these annual gatherings because they have been used to having these for the last 15 years. So how can we make it stay? And the competition was fighting to buy the brands because a lot of the people were writing to the bankruptcy firm asking to buy the events, and they didn't know that we were rebuilding them on the side. And most of all, the community motivation did not disappear, and Eric and GS are people of the community. So as you can see, it did not disappear. And our strategy was we needed to create 2 new events. We needed to create new brands that would allow us to promote these events and to gather all these people. We needed to go public and put it out there that we were recreating the events and we had the capacity to do it. So there was a huge press operation in Quebec regarding that. And we needed to secure the dates and location because now that the old company was no more, the dates were available, the location was available, and everyone wanted them. So we made a launch, an event launch last October, so last year. We released the dates, we released the name of the events, we launched 3 websites, 3 brands, and that's when we decided to remake the committee. So we reached out to all the volunteers, and all the volunteers came back to make these events happen. So as good Canadians as we are, we gathered at a restaurant around the poutine, and we took a post-it.
True story.
That's a true story. We gathered around poutine, we took a post-it and listed the steps that we needed to make it happen.
So some people think that great ideas comes into napkins. They come into post-it shapes with poutines.
So the one thing that the competition did not know is that we needed to secure the community and not the events. And that's the story of how we hijacked the community. And fun fact, in February, we bought the old brands.
We devalued them in order to buy them for cheap.
Yeah.
And this is what we've done with a 2-hour session with EDGY in the library and a 1-hour poutine debrief.
Yep.
So that was their first experience with the EDGY methodology. So a single 2-hour, we found something, some clues, and then we moved on. What was the second movie?
Oh, sorry, I went too fast.
Yes. The Community Strike Back. Motivation and alignment. You go ahead.
No, it's you.
Okay, it's me.
There's some cards with symbols.
Okay, there's some concept. Yeah?
Yes. That no, it does not come later, so I'll answer you right now. When we went public and announced that we were launching 2 new events, we opened the tickets, and people bought their tickets. We managed to get $200,000 from the city of Quebec. So that funded the first part of the year. So around January, I started to have a salary. And after that, what it did is that since the people were buying tickets, the city of Quebec was there. Sponsors wanted to be there, so we were contacted by Google, Microsoft, AWS, and they all wanted in. So it kind of like made a whole group gather around these events.
And
Yeah.
the thing is that we could have built a timeline on these, but like at that point we have an event, we have the city that's giving us money, but the old brand and everything is still stuck in the administration part, and other businesses are still trying to buy the name of the brand, and we were all at the event, and it's the new Voldemort thing we cannot say now. So everybody was like naming these whole events, but everybody's like, we don't need, we cannot say that yet. It's not legal. So yeah, we hijacked the community because we saw more value. Then the community was there, and then the money came in, and then we moved forward.
Yeah. So, to be honest, I saw that I understood why it was practical and how everything would work out eventually, but I did not see where to start. And I was like, okay, but I need a brand. But like Jess was telling me, no, but we will end up in the brand somewhere around the mapping process or whatever. But yeah, so I thought it was interesting, and luckily, I did not had to be in the map around the beginning. So I would talk to Jess, Jess would do the map, and then he'll send me the map, and I'll say, oh, okay, it makes sense.
And that's a good segue for the second movie, because then we say, maybe it's hard for people to follow. Let's make a game about it. So we started with the definition, and then people was, yeah. But when we made the game and the question-based approach, now I said, okay, it's easier. It was not there yet, but we move forward with it. So explain to us what we did with your team.
What we did. So, as I told you earlier, we had volunteers working with us. So, how it works is that I'm the only employee of the nonprofit, but I work with 8 other people who are responsible for one committee. So, I have one people responsible for the program, the design, the communications and marketing, and everything. So, I just booked them a night on their agenda. I said, we'll play a game. You do have nothing to prepare. Jess and Eric will be there, and we'll try it out. So we booked a night, we had beers, we played a game. It was fun. So everyone had the impression that we were not really working. We were only thinking about what we wanted for that event, because we did not say, but at the beginning, we were such in a rush to produce the events that we used the enterprise design for the product and not for the company. So the first round of the game, we took 1 hour to play a fictionist game. So we had a wool sock business that, and we had to work around that. So we did not pick. We just draw a card, and that was that. So and we had the ambition to integrate big data in our business, in our wool sock business, in honor of our great grandfather, who were a sheep herder. Yeah, yeah. And we had a genealogical tree, personalized patterns for everyone who was subscribing to our business. So yeah, so it was really a fun game, and it helped us learn how to play the game in order to play the real game afterwards for our event. So in the next 2 hours, we created the first edition of Interface. So Interface is the name of the event. We knew why we wanted to do it. We knew everything that was necessary to make the event happen, what were products, how the business was shaped, and who was doing what and everything. So it really helped us make everything fit together in order to have our guiding star for the next move, since the event was like 4 months away. Everyone was so pumped, like everyone wanted to do the events. We knew what we had to do. Everyone was on Asana making tasks, and like, so it really was yeah, the mood was really positive.
And just before we played the game with the other teams and other people, we actually did some sort of survey and a bit of a workshop just to prepare people to be ready for that. But instead of asking all these questions, the preparation were mostly what did you love about the old event and what did you hate about the old event. And then what you see on the right is GS doing the Miro stuff after the game just to make sure it's readable, tangible, and you can see after. So all the things that were in there, they came up with it. As a good facilitator, my job is to say, mm-hmm, yeah, sure, mm-hmm, and then retype the stuff. It's an easy job.
So, what we did end up with the same team, but we had a different outcome than the previous years. So, just the idea of using EDGY and making time to rethink all of these aspects made us dream of a new event and aspect that we did not even had in mind the previously.
So this is a bit of a job where I talk about my 7 maps and stuff. Actually took what was on during the game and made the other maps as an expert. So here's the people map, here's the high level description map. These are the core capability, core task, core product, core stuff that I call them. I put them into some sort of a relationship map to see if there are some gaps and we forgot stuff, and we did forget stuff.
Mhm.
I did a quick Milky Way of a year-round event. How do you plan it? Where's the stress? How it happens? And just a little bit of a 10-ish element of the ecosystem. So who influence us? Who do we need the partners? And the city of Quebec that is giving us money. So at some point we need to give them something back. So just to figure it out. And it was just a quick, that's the high level view core of the main event. Quick explanation here. So on the capability, we have the capability to gather some partners, which is the last one on the bottom. But then what product do we offer them? It's a gap. We did not talk about that, but we need to. And what is going to be the partner experience? We need to figure it out. And how will it influence our brand? But there were some other things like, yeah, one of our capabilities is to gather the speaker because people want to learn and the product is the conference. This is obvious. But the thing we forgot are very important too. So this core element, we can see the core gaps. Then we can dive deeper at some point, but not there. It's just an overview.
So, as you can see, we had an event. This is in last May. So, we had 12,000 people. So we had our big karaoke night and everyone was having fun. We had reached all our goals in attendance, in funding, private, public, and we launched our dates for 2026 at the same time. So we were able to confirm that there will be an event in next May. So as you can see, everyone is having fun. It was a fun event. So earlier I was talking to you about our volunteers. So we had, this is the team that gives around 3 to 5 hours each week of the year to make this event happen. So some of them are there since the beginning. So we were able with them to make this event, and we were able to hijack the community. Yeah,
And like an idiot, I always miss the picture because I'm somewhere else.
you have to be in. So that's your part.
Yeah. Cool slide. So
Load.
I'll tell you when to click. So we had a past state, and now our future state was 2025. Now our future state is now our past state because time goes on. And what we knew we didn't like about the whole event is that when you have 1,200 people, is that in the conference, like at noon, everybody's got stuck where the lunch are. And we did not figure this one out. But on top of that, during the day, maybe you can explain it a little bit.
Yeah, so around 11:30, the lunch is at 12. The venue comes see us and they say, "Hey, The catering misunderstood the date. They are planning to be here tomorrow, and now we have to feed 1,200 people. So, how do we do it? We called all the local restaurants. We had 6 different restaurants, and in order to give time for the restaurant to make the food, we opened the bar. We we delayed the lunch. What I didn't told you is that the event is all inclusive. So we feed people. It's bar open. So yeah. So we opened the bar, we delayed the lunch, and we ordered food from multiple restaurants.
So happy little outcomes. What we realized then is that people started socializing while in the queue. It's like crowdy and not fun because they were at the bar talking. And now there is actually no more lineup. And then when the food arrived, then people gradually go there and figure out the food and they check what is so no more lineups. And we most people say, yeah, pizza is better than like a dried sandwich or something like that. Oh, by the way, this at noon the sandwich were very good.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
were
not
very
like this
good.
one. So we check at that and it's like, that's an opportunity. So for next week, what we're trying to plan, and maybe the lunch won't be at noon. Maybe it's going to be at 12:30.
We don't know.
And now we might have the option to check for restaurant food because it's actually cheaper and people prefer pizzas sometimes. So this is why I say we don't make mistakes. We just make happy accidents. And I think like having these kind of map where you know you're mapping these things is give you some sense of okay, this is where the problem happened, and like you know where to put where the problem is, so you know where the solution can be, and like having this sort of a consistency within the system and people knowing about it, then you can reflect on it, and it's easier to improve year over year and have a legacy of what's the perfect event. So you just change things over the year where you might want to improve stuff.
And I'll make a parallel to the conference this morning with the recipe. So with the EDGY maps, we were able to have the recipe written for the events because we had them in our mind, but now we have something that proves it. So yeah.
The return of the board, how it became a system. We had 4 months to plan 2 events, and now we have 12 months to plan 2 events with a star, and you'll see why later on.
So what we did during the summer is that we took time to work on the business behind the events because we were such in a hurry that we did not took the time. We made our brand in Canva, so now we worked with a designer. We now have a mission, which we didn't have, and we launched our new website. So it allowed us to work on the things that we did not have at the time initially. So now, as a business, I have a board of 9 person, and I was the only employee, and GS is right at the bottom, yeah, because he's everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
It's the quantic stuff, everything everywhere all at once, but nothing at the same time.
So that's it.
Oh yeah, okay. So basically here we started with the team motivation as a vision and a strong feeling, but now you have an administrative board that needs to make decision and know why they're making decision and be in a line. And there's 12 new people with decision power and manage money and all the administrative board do. So there we already had the boards that we worked on. They looked at it, we worked just a little bit to transform it into a manifesto, mission, vision. And then we only had, or at least I only had a 1 hour meeting during lunchtime with people to accept all of these things that you see here with the administrative board. So because we had stuff and prior conversation and everything made sense, we agreed on the ambition, the manifesto, the mission, the vision, the who are our client, the why, the benefits, the proposition value, and the slogans and everything. They're
Can see
there.
them. We
It's
made
written,
them.
it's stamped, it's approved. Uh, the ecosystem, a bit of the same thing. So now that we had more time, we added people into the ecosystem and we redraw these maps that you're by now mostly familiar with, just to see how things evolve in between different entities, cities, and people.
Huh.
We checked all these different teams to check what are they accountable for. So what are the processes they need to know and understand. So the board, it's close to a governance chart, I guess, or we can switch it more formally at some point. But yeah, the administrative board has some responsibility, and the programming have some responsibility. And at some point, the administrative board is responsible for the Capitale Numérique brand, but not necessarily the interface and rendezvous numérique brand. So we try to divide where are their sector of processes, where do they land as a non-for-profit event and everything. And we know it's going to move, but it was a good starting point. So everybody can have some sort of a look of what they are supposed to do in the whole thing. Multiple brands. What do we do in interface rendezvous? So how they are applied, and the openings for other brands and other possibilities at some point. This one we talked about portfolio management with someone at noon. So this one is about like what's actually an event. Do you sell an event? Like we're selling conference? Yeah, sure, but you're selling conferences, knowledge, coffee, socialization, pictures,
After
documents,
hour.
after hours, food, and this is actually all the different uh, smaller product that you have into an event that you actually bundle for different events. So not all events have the coffee, but coffee is a product of is a feature in a product that is the event,
Mhm.
which is also branded by a name. So what we did here is that if we have other event, we can say we need that, we don't need that, we need that, we don't need that, and
It's
it's
like
not
a cupboard.
yeah, it's not done yet, but all of these are actually capabilities behind. So user survey, what people like, don't like after the event. So we are trying to make them as clear as possible and what are the top tasks and the main task of people that go there. So at the first we were only speculative
Mhm.
and qualitative. Now we're moving toward quantitative because we have 200 people answering the survey. So
Yeah.
we can start to have some sense of what's happening and where the pressure is and what's going right and what might be improved on.
And since we didn't have the brand initially, we did not have any data. So like we only had to go like around every some of the things that we knew. But what made it possible to help us work this summer on that is that now we had the data, because after every event we send a different survey to our attendees, to our partners, and to our speakers. And that's what I said to GS. I said that now I'm the only one in the company who sees the maps and who uses them now. But when I have decision to make, when the people around me ask me questions, I know that's where I'll find the info I need. So they are evolving with us. So it's not something we do and we close the folder and we never look at it again. So to me, it was a tool that gathers everything, and that helped me plan all the next steps. So as I said to Jess, these are my guiding stars.
This is where I said, do you want to cross the ocean? So yeah, a system always does what it's set up to do. So you kind of need to control it, understand it, but to make it accessible to people in order to improve upon it over time. So these maps are there for that reason. You need to make it as simple as possible. But yeah, like I said, you will make some mistake, but you can improve over time if you know where to look for.
The epilogue. So now I have a colleague. So it's been 3 weeks, so I abandoned her this week. But I now have a colleague. So Sabrina is our first employee. Um, we made the third event last week in Montreal. So that's an event where we had 250 people in a big business in Montreal. So it was really nice because it was our first event in Montreal. It was another challenge, and we were only four doing this event, and it was amazing. And we are currently planning a fourth event, this time focusing on e-commerce for next autumn.
It's not happened yet, so no images.
Yeah, it's still a secret. And last year we had 2,500 attendees, 1 million in revenue, and 1.5 million in economic impact for our city, the city of Quebec. Yeah, it's a good success story. So the moral of the story is
Well, foreign friends, uh, it did help us. Like, well, you were kind of some sort of guinea pig, so thank you for helping us this thing. But we improved the game. I tested some stuff with the map, and this gave me a better vision in order to collaborate with Danielle to talk about strategy as a whole. It forced me to read stuff, test stuff, being challenged by everybody. So to me, it was a very incredible year.
in our case at Capitale Numérique, it was a way to align three different mindsets because we are three co-founders. I'm the human-centered one and the community one. I have an entrepreneur who's like always willing to do new stuff, more stuff, and I have a business people who's like really into B2B stuff and marketing. So we had to align everyone in order to make it happen. We had to have a clear message and strategy for the community because it was a time of what's gonna happen? Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So we had to have a clear message and use it to our advantage. So that's what we did, and we have now a guiding star for me and for our board of administrators. So yeah, it's me and Edgy. Thank you. Merci.